Hi, everybody, and welcome to this exciting episode of the Next Level Women podcast. I am so thrilled and grateful because I have two incredible women on the show today, and I really cannot wait to dive in. I have Sandy and Talia. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so I'm going to start with introduction. I want you to introduce yourself and tell us what you do. I'll start with you, Talia, and then we'll go to Sandy.
So I'm Talia, and I run a conversion optimization agency called GetUplift. We help brands optimize their websites and their customer journeys using psychology and emotion. I'm a keynote speaker. I speak all over the world. I do workshops, and I recently wrote a book called Emotional Targeting, and it came out 6 months ago, which is crazy, crazy, crazy how time's gone by. And it's been an incredible journey. That's really me.
Wow. Congratulations on your book, first of all, because I know that's no mean feat to have a published book. I am really intrigued by your work, what you do to help. Because the reason I'm intrigued, because I know that people buy based on human psychology. I know there's a whole world around human psychology and what makes people buy. So I'm gonna be asking very curious questions because I know people listening right now are gonna be like, tell me exactly what I have to do so that people buy using human psychology. So thank you so much for being on the show today. Over to you, Sandy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sandy Osei. Actually, my background is a psychiatric nurse practitioner, but now I'm a licensed financial coach. So my work focus on helping families, especially women, right? We
Mm.
shoulder a lot. We have a lot on our shoulders. So my goal is to educate women so that they will get some financial clarity because you don't know what you don't know, right? But once you have clarity, you're able to make informed decision, protect their income, right? And also retirement and also ways to legally save on taxes. So and build a long-term financial security for their families.
I love that so much. And this is a topic that is so close to my heart because I remember seeing like news headlines back in the day and they were like, Bezos only pays $1,000 in taxes. And I'm like, how is it possible that
Yeah,
these incredibly wealthy people pay so little tax and me, I'm paying like 15%, 20% of my income in taxes. So I love that you said that. And we're going to dive into all of the things because I love my country, but I don't really enjoy paying taxes, right? It's something I have to do, but
yes.
I don't enjoy paying taxes.
That's
So I
perfect
am
for your
so
honesty.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So most women feel their way by just, being open up and speaking out openly. They're just like, oh, really? You don't want to pay taxes? But, there's ways that you can, legally reduce how much you pay on your taxes.
yeah,
Also, just having the
yeah, go ahead.
conversation about money.
Mm,
I feel like women don't talk about money enough. We
mm,
dance around the subject, but we don't really like say, okay, so how much you making? How much
Hmm.
tax are you paying? What are your secrets? And share. And I think men are more out there talking about, how much they're making and what they're
Yes.
doing. And it's in a different type of arena. But I think that when women share, they uplift each
mm,
other all the time. And there's not enough conversations about money, is there?
No,
mm.
it's not.
Yeah, people used to see money as a dirty word, like
Hmm.
almost like, oh, that's too dirty to talk about. And someone gave an analogy a couple of weeks ago, and I found it very, very interesting. And she said, if you were looking to get healthy or healthier, you wouldn't say, oh, I want to get healthy, but I don't want to be too healthy. But when it
Yes.
comes to money, people say, "Oh, I want to have money, but I don't want to be too wealthy." It's
Rich.
almost like being too wealthy is a bad thing, and she's like, "No, it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing." So I love that so much, and we're gonna dive into all of those topics today. So I want to go to Talia. Tell us about your entrepreneurship journey. How did you get to this point of success? Because before we hit the record button, we were chit chatting, and you mentioned that you have teams all over the world. So how did you grow your business to this level?
I would love to sit here and say I have a bulletproof framework and here's how I did it. Here are my 10 steps. Honestly, I started my business when I was pregnant with my first kid. I was working full time at a startup, and I felt like it's now or never. Like I have to do it, which honestly is usually like the opposite of what people do. Where you get pregnant, you want financial stability, you stay in your job. But for me, it's now or never. So everything I've done in my business has always been around gut feeling. And it took me to a certain level, building the company, deciding who we're speaking to, doing the marketing, getting on stages, writing a book, hiring people from all over the world. It really has been a journey of what do I enjoy doing and who do I enjoy working with? Because for me, we spend so much time working, the most important thing is the people I surround myself. If I surround myself by incredible people, then my life is better, my job is better, everything's better. So it wasn't really a question of, oh, should I just hire in England, or should I hire all over the world? For me, I wanted to hire people everywhere. And we started getting clients from the US mostly. So most of the team is US based. And most of the decisions that I've made, whether if they are to do with, getting on stage for the first time, that was a big deal. And, flying halfway across the world to get on the stage, or pitching clients, or even building my own methodology and framework, which is very different than the industry that I'm in, that is very numbers driven. Mine is all based on psychology and emotion and understanding customers. All of that, I would say, is just me bringing myself into the business and probably listening less to what everyone else was saying I should do.
I love that so much, especially at the beginning when you talked about gut feeling. And that's how I have grown my business as well. Listening to my gut and allowing God, I call him God, to guide me through. I am really fascinated by like the success you've created for yourself, especially as a woman, right? So I want to know, was there any limiting beliefs that came up for you when you went on this venture? And did you always have it in your mind to grow a successful business, or were you just like, oh, I'm gonna see what works, and then the success just came? Talk us through that.
So I think, like many, I have what I want it to be. I have a lot of aspirations and I have ideas of where I want the business to go, but I didn't always feel confident about it. And as an entrepreneur, shit hits the fan so many
Yeah.
times. Sorry. Like so
Yeah.
many things happen, right? Like you start out really well and then everything's terrible and then it's good again. And you go through this like roller coaster, of emotions. And I think, growing up, my dad was an like a solopreneur who ran his own business. So, and I really looked up to him. So I think I always knew I wanted to run my own business, but I was very scared to do it. And I never really went for it until I was pregnant. And I kind of felt, because I had this belief that like, oh, when you become a mom, that's it. Like, end, end of it. So for me, it was like, I have to do it now, or I'll never be able to be an entrepreneur and run my own business. So for me, it took time to get there. But yeah, it was honestly more of like, this is something I've always wanted to do. And I had to put aside the beliefs of like, this is what kind of mother I'm going to be. This is what kind of manager I'm going to be. This is what kind of business I'm just going to build it in the best way possible that fits my life, and hopefully succeed.
Awesome. I love that so much. And listeners, I want you to take away from what Talia just said. She was afraid. So there was fear involved. So if you're listening right now and you are afraid, congratulations, you're on the right path, right? Because look at Talia, look at where she is today. She was afraid, she took action, and she created success for herself. So thank you so much, Talia, for that. I'm going to go to Sandy. Sandy, tell us about your entrepreneurship journey. How did you get to the level where you are today in your business?
So, My passion comes from a personal experience and story. As 3 years ago, my father suffered multiple stroke, not one, but multiple. And because of that, he became very impulsive. He had what we call the vascular dementia. I don't know if anybody know. It affects a part of your brain that and he's very like his memory was very bad, short-term memory loss. So we did everything we could, right, to take care of him. And we had to deal with the financial stress that is associated with that, not the also the emotional part of it, because
Mm.
mind you, he was a healthy man working, doing what that he needs to do to take care of his family. But once all that happened, he couldn't work anymore. So he was falling a lot, right? You tell him, Daddy, do not get up without help. As soon as you tell him, he forget right away. So he will hit his head. So what come down is he needs one-on-one caregiver. So we try. We apply for Medicaid for him. We couldn't he didn't get approved because by that time, even though he was not working, he was disabled, but the government said like my mom was also working. They put that into consideration. So he got denied. So the long story short, we had to sadly send him back home because he did not have any income protection in place. We worked so hard, but I noticed that we don't have the shield to protect an income in an event that we are long term, not like, a week or so sick, but when we are critical or chronically ill, we need that protection. So this is not what we want. That's not the care that he's getting is not what we want, right? We would love to have him here with us, but it's just the sad truth. And around that same time, too, my very dear friend, we went to nursing school together. She was also doing great. She's also a nurse practitioner. She also had a little baby. She was very excited, but her moment of joy turned into sadness because while she was breastfeeding her little boy, the boy would scream and he
Mm.
was like throwing up. And it turned out that she had breast cancer. Thankfully, the boy was okay, right? He did not get the cancer. Yeah. So once she also got diagnosed with the breast cancer, she had to start treatment right away, chemo, diagnostic, whatever. She couldn't work for like I think 3 years. And she also unfortunately had to send her little boy back home. She had to rely on friends and family for financial support. So this is what drives me to educate our community and everybody that we work so hard, like I said, to protect our income. We need to protect our income on an event that something like that happen, right? And also have so many strategies like we talk about how we can also save on taxes. So starting off, like you talk about the challenges, I had that imposter syndrome, right? Oh, my background is from Ghana. You open your mouth, you have, accent. Who is going to understand you? Who is even going to listen to you? I had that fear as well that I was always passionate to become an entrepreneur. Even back home when I was in Ghana, I was very passionate. But when I travel here, I noticed that if I want to start off something, I need to start somewhere. That's why I started with the healthcare. So now my passion is no family left behind, right? We need all to educate ourselves.
That is
Thank
so powerful. And what you just shared is exactly my story as well, about the imposter syndrome. So I also, I'm from Nigeria. We're cousins. So she's Guinean and Nigerian. I say we're
you.
cousins because our countries are just next to each other. And I used to be so afraid because I'm like, who's going to understand my accent? People are going to say, oh, I sound funny. No one is going to hire me as their coach. And so, yes, that's the imposter syndrome I faced too. And thank you so much for your work because I know that many people are listening right now. They have imposter syndrome. Maybe it's telling them, oh, you're too fat. That was one of the things my head was telling me as well. You're not pretty enough. No one is going to watch your videos. And all of those things are just our primitive brain, the limbic side of our brain trying to keep us safe because it sees rejection as a threat to our safety. So thank you so much for mentioning that. I want to go back to your story because that's an incredible story. What you had to go through and your family to send your father back to Ghana because you couldn't afford the cost of care. And in the news last week, there was a celebrity that died of cancer, sadly. But her story was so bad because even though she was very successful during her heydays, she had to rely on GoFundMe, public fundraising, to pay for cancer care in the US. And it truly breaks my heart because if someone was such a huge and successful celebrity, we would expect that they would have some kind of plan or income protection. But sadly, not everyone has access to that education about how to structure your finances so that sadly when health challenges come in the future, you are able to weather that storm. So, I want you to tell us about how you help families to protect their income. I also love that you mentioned taxes because I believe that the IRS intentionally created the tax code in the US. And those things in the tax code that helps us to save on taxes are publicly available. But because the tax code is so lengthy, not everyone has the time to study and understand those financial information. So not everyone is able to take advantage of all of the strategies to set up our finances for wealth creation and wealth building. So tell us how you help people to structure their finances so that they're prepared for the future.
Yeah, so I said, like I initially said, we usually do a lot of education. That's when my imposter syndrome came because you have to be talking a lot to people, right? So what we do, I do a set up an appointment and meet up and educate, right? We look at your numbers. First of all, we look at what we can do to help you. Like I said, we have so many strategies to help you save on taxes. We usually our mindset is like, oh, this is what I'm required to pay. Like you said, the IRS had the tax code. Yeah, people think there's a different tax code for rich people. It just due to lack of financial literacy, right? That middle class, we have a different. So we want to break that myth, right? That rich people pay taxes and middle class, rich people don't pay taxes and middle class pay all the taxes. That's one of the myths that I break when I meet one-on-one that we there's ways that we can, all of us, like you said, it's available in the everywhere, right, on the website, that everybody can get access to it. And also I help them, like I talk about the income protection. I meet you and also educate you ways to strategy your finance. So on an event that you are sick, get like a portfolio. Not when we rely on our mindset is I hope I don't get sick, right? Hope is not a strategy, right?
Yeah.
Because when it comes to getting sick, it's not a matter of if, it's when. We all can get sick anytime, right? So instead of just relying on a regular savings and checking account, those barely cover even when we are 100%, right? It doesn't help us, right? And also some also rely on an employee like a short-term and long-term disability. That's like 60% of your base pay. That usually doesn't do anything. So when I educate and help you set up a portfolio that while you are living, right, and you are sick, you can access those funds to take care of your, because when people are sick, sometimes it's not just the illness that delay their treatment. It's financial stress is also part of it, right? So if you have a portfolio that you're able to access part of the fund to take care of your medical bills, healing usually is faster that way. And also a retirement, right? Instead of just relying on the 401k and other strategies, there's better retirement like an annuity that I also educate family about how annuity can also be a better retirement plan for middle class and women and everybody. So these are some of the, and also setting up accounts for kids, right? Like me, I didn't get, my parent did not set up any college fund for me because they didn't know. I don't want my
Yeah.
kids to go through the same thing. So what I do is also educate family about that. That the fact that our family did not know doesn't mean that we should keep on, the same trend, right? We can change. We can start where we are, right? We can change the past, but we can start where we are and change the future.
Yeah,
Sandy, I absolutely love what you're saying, and I've been having quite a few conversations about this with fellow entrepreneurs about how I'm a millennial, and our parents never spoke to us about money. You never sat down and had the actual conversation of what is a bank account? What is a checkings? What is savings? How do you put money aside? How do you actually save money? And it goes back to the conversation before about like shame, because money is something you don't really talk about.
Mhm.
And you know, I think it's so important to be talking to our children about money and how to earn it and how to save it, because a lot of us are dependent on our salary when you actually look at wealth, it doesn't come from a salary, it comes from knowing where to invest it, knowing what to do with the money. And sometimes you feel like you're small, you're not that big. So what could you do? How much could you even invest? When in
Yes,
fact, something so small can be life-changing if you just make a few small changes in the way you manage your monthly income. And I just wanted to say that I love that you're doing this, because it's sorely missed. There's not enough conversation about this anywhere.
thank you. And also, piggyback on investment. I also educate our community about different strategy of investment. We are used to fixed environment. The fixed environment is where we get the checking and savings. We barely get any interest on those environments. And the variable is also tied up to stock market. Anything that happens to the market, right? Like there's war, the one I remember when the COVID-19 virus came in, it crashed our stock market. So we are also educating community about a different way of having an investment in an environment, right, that is protected. They get downside market protection. It's not tied up to the market, and you are not hoping and praying that you don't lose a huge chunk of your portfolio, whatever
Yeah.
happens, right, to the
Yeah,
economy.
absolutely, especially because in the US,
Mm-hmm.
having any kind of social security,
Mm-hmm.
actual, like it doesn't even have to be a disaster. It can be as simple as falling down the stairs and
Yes.
you're out of a job for a year because you broke something or you've injured yourself. And it's alarming at how much the country doesn't do much for any social benefits, but there's also no education around how to take care of yourself in case this happens. And I know so many people that don't have any health insurance and like do not have any plans that can help them in case of the smallest things happen, and not to mention the largest big things like you were mentioning before.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it's just it's side of the story, right? Like I was talking about, we always we want to like use hope. Like, I hope this doesn't happen to me. I hope you could be very healthy and just going to, like you said, you could fall or go to a very bad motor vehicle. And things like a child can do, like feeding yourself, yeah, transferring, walking, your control your bounce, something that you can do, right? So, like you said, we want to rely on what we've had, but that has never worked. It has never worked. That's why it's a critical and chronic illness is number one cause of poverty. People think it's, filing bankruptcy, but that's not the case.
Yeah, as you were just speaking, I was going on my Instagram from 2024. I did a post. It said a third of millionaires in America never earned $100,000 income. So a third of millionaires never earned $100,000 in income. So to your point, Talia, that it is what we do with what we have. So imagine that a third of all millionaires in the US earned less than six figures in salary. But because they invested in a great way, like the strategy Sandy was talking about, that's how they've been able to grow their wealth to millions of dollars. And I personally, my exposure to money was from fear. So you said our parents never talked about money. Mine, we were so afraid because money was all about my daddy being hounded by people he had borrowed money from, or the landlord coming to knock on our door and my daddy hiding away. So I grew up with this idea that money is something to be afraid of. So is one of the limiting beliefs I had to overcome to start to see money as a good thing. So thank you so much for that. And I just wanted to mention that a very close friend of mine in the US was diagnosed with cancer about 8 months ago. And he said that one of the medication cost $2,000 per week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. Imagine $2,000 per week just for one of the medication. And so I believe that this conversation is something that women should take seriously, so that we build a comfortable future for our children. Talia, I want to come back to you because your niche is something that fascinates me. Tell us, how do you help people sell more using human psychology? I know you said you work with people's website and you help them make more sales, but give us some insights that we can implement today to help grow our sales.
So this all goes back to my job, as in companies hire us in order to help them get more sales or get more leads or get more demo requests, or depending on what their goal is. And oftentimes, when I speak to brands, their main focus has always been on, okay, I can see that something's wrong with my website. I can see that something's wrong with my emails. I'm not selling enough. I'm not getting the results that I want. And then you start kind of playing around with your website. You change a call to action button, you change a headline because you read somewhere on LinkedIn that that's what you should do, or you kind of remove form fields because you read a blog post about that, or you go to your competitors and they seem like they know what they're doing, so you start copying them. And there's all this stuff that we do that is very tactical, but it doesn't actually help. And that's kind of where my journey started. When I first started my agency, I just thought, okay, I'll try different things out and we'll see what happens. And it didn't really get the results that I needed for my clients. And what I understood is that if I want to increase conversions, I have to understand decision making, because when someone decides to buy from you, that's a conversion. And if I want to help brands optimize and drive more sales, I need to understand how their specific prospects and customers make buying decisions. And more importantly, I have to understand what's driving them to the website, why they're coming there. And if you ask really anyone, any brand, why people buy from them, mostly you'll hear, um, it's our pricing, it's our features, it's our technology. This is what I sell, this is what I do. And it's all about your solution. But what psychologists and neuroscientists have proved for hundreds of years now is that people don't buy products, they buy better versions of themselves. When you
Mm,
buy something, even if it's a consulting package, if it's a if it's insurance, or if it's a B2B, I don't know, email marketing software, whatever you're buying, it's in order to improve your self-belief about yourself, or what other people think about you. It's called self-image and social image. How I want to feel about myself after finding a solution. I want to feel more confident. I want to feel like a better mom. I want to feel like I'm smarter with my financial decisions. I want to know that I am bringing much value to the company. Or social image, how I want other people. I want other people to think about me, that I am the go-to person, that I am smart, that I am the right person to get that promotion that was promised to me. So there's a lot of emotions involved. And essentially, what I did is create a framework that helps my clients and my students, because I have a course that teaches this for entrepreneurs, how to identify why people buy from you, what kind of research you need to do, and how to look at your website with a different lens. So the first step is really doing real customer research. That means knowing who your customers are beyond their the role that they do, so the job that they have, or their age, or their gender, or their geographical location. Really knowing the biggest pains that they have, what wakes them up at night, how they feel about themselves, how they want to feel after finding a solution. So doing extensive research that is qualitative research. And then once you know more about your customers, then you can look at your website and you can start asking yourself a set of questions that are around, Are you speaking about yourself or are you making it about the customer? Are you actually highlighting things they care about? Are you describing situations and challenges that they've experienced themselves? Or are you promising something they want? Or is it just generic stuff? Once you do that, it's so much easier to optimize. It's a lot easier to see what's not working because you now know your customers for real, not their demographics, but you understand their emotional state, you understand what they're looking for, and you can provide a better experience for them by writing better copy, by creating better messaging, by using the right visuals and images. As an example, we work with a brilliant supplement website company that helps people with debilitating skin issues. That really, these are mostly women who have a really hard time even going to work because of their skin. Like it really affects their confidence and how they feel about themselves. And when we did the audit for them and we looked and we did real research, we understood that yes, they are mentioning general stuff about treatment and why their products are great for them, but they're not really hitting the nail on the head on how debilitating it is to wake up in the morning and be embarrassed about your skin and worry that people aren't listening to you, but they're looking at your skin and worrying that you're not going to be able to progress and all sorts of imposter syndrome that comes out from that. So by understanding this, it helped us start optimizing their website and using better messaging and better stories and communicating even better testimonials and social proof and showing real women. So it's all about understanding your customers and then optimizing based on that. Yeah, so it's quite a long explanation, and we can get into the actual details of how to do it, but that's just kind of the spiel about what this is and why I care about it so much.
I love that so much, and I love your passion for your niche. Tell us about the course. You said you have a course for entrepreneurs, and how can people get a hold of the course?
So it's actually my favorite thing. So obviously I have an agency and we have a big portfolio of wonderful clients and companies that we love working with. But those, our pricing and our offerings are geared towards companies that have marketing teams and are running tests and want to optimize. But I've always wanted to work with entrepreneurs and to work with solopreneurs like myself. And so the first thing I actually did before even taking on any clients was create a course. So I took everything from my framework and I created a step-by-step course that teaches entrepreneurs and founders how to do all of this themselves without spending tens of thousands of dollars and hiring consultants and agencies, how to do the actual research yourself, how to audit your website in a way that really helps you understand what's not working, and then how to write copy, how to create design that creates and drives more conversions. So a lot of my students are a psychologist, a yoga instructor, a baker, a dietitian, a physician who works with different people from all over the world. And I love that because we have monthly coaching calls and I get on a call with them and everyone kind of shares what they're working on and we review pages together and talk about what makes sense and what doesn't and kind of give advice. And it's so much fun. It's not that I don't enjoy working with my clients, of course I do, but it's different. There's a bigger impact when you're working with that one person who wears all the hats, who's also doing the sales, who's also doing the marketing. They're also sweeping up the office. It's fun. I get really energized from it and kind of helping people succeed.
Awesome. And is there a website for people to go check out the course?
Oh, yes, it's at taliawolf.com. The course is called Emotion Cells. And it's pretty cool. I like it.
Awesome. So, listeners, I'm gonna grab that and put it in the show notes. So you have the link to the course in the show notes. Thank you so much, Talia, for that. I am definitely going to check it out because I am fascinated by using human psychology to make more sales and have more impact in the world. So, thank you so much for that. I want
That's
to go
amazing.
to selling. Go ahead, Sandy.
I said that's amazing, Talia.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do want to say that I think the reason I'm also very passionate about it is because most of this industry that I'm in is very numbers oriented and data oriented, and it's all about selling, selling, selling. So, how do you increase conversions? For me, what I love about this framework is that you're not just trying to make more money, but your goal is to create a better experience for people. Because when someone's coming to your website, they're trying to solve a problem. And it is extremely frustrating to be searching the web for a problem, for a solution to your problem, and everyone looks the same and says the same. And there's no way to differentiate and know, is this for me? Is it not? So when you do this work, you're not only obviously getting more results and more sales, but you're creating a better experience and you're solving more people's problems. So I think that's why I'm kind of passionate about it the most.
Yeah, love that so much. And it kind of makes a difference, right? When we're passionate about our work, it makes a difference in how we show up. It makes a difference in the confidence we emanate to the world. And it just makes life a lot more enjoyable when we love the job we do. So thank you so much for sharing your passion with us. I want to go to Sandy. Tell us about selling, marketing, and sales. How have you done the mindset work to get to where you are today that you are able to market yourself and make sales? The reason I ask is because so many women struggle mentally with the concept of asking for money. Well, my coach says we're not asking for money because we're actually delivering a service, right, in exchange for money. But I know many women struggle with that part, with getting paid for their services. So tell us about your experience.
Yeah, so I always speak it back to when the topic of money comes. Most women are, like I said, we are very afraid. We don't want to talk about it. And going back home in Ghana, men are supposed to be the authority. They are supposed to be put food on the table, right? They are supposed to be the one handling money, taking care of everything. But the good news is, after traveling here to United States, I was able to get that mindset shift that it doesn't always have to be that way. It all starts with our mindset, right? So that way, as an entrepreneur, we'll be able to handle sales and not feel guilty or talking about money, right? So when it comes to my sales, like I said, I always start with education. I want to give value to my community, right? How am I going to sell to anybody who don't even understand what they're getting? Because after educating, I've noticed a lot of people even have some kind of financial strategy in place, but they don't understand it. They just keep, paying for something that they don't even see the value of it, just because they were supposed this, they were being told to do, right? So that's why I value and I'm passionate about education. So I do live weekly workshop to provide value and educate, right? So that whatever hidden, everything that we don't want to talk about, a safe environment, women, we can talk about money. We can talk about money. It's okay. Okay. So I do that. And I also social media. I collaborate with some other women, right? So that we can share value with each other, give referrals. Women supporting each other is way better than also just doing this by yourself. And I have a team of people that I'm working with in my journey here. So I'm not doing this myself. So everything that I'm doing out there, I want to make sure that it's, duplicatable, right? It's able to duplicate, and I'm able to teach others to also do what I'm doing as well.
That's incredible. So someone is listening right now and you're like, oh, I want to explore working with Sandy so I can have all of these financial strategies in place. What will be the next step for them?
So what the next step is to book like a one-on-one consultation that we can put the link there so that we can like I said, I like to always reach my clients on a personal level, right? And also the good news is I also created what we call a retirement calculator, right? So we all want to retire at some point. Right. We put the age, I want to retire at 65. But whatever we're doing to get there, it's like we don't have a better strategy, right? And actually, when it comes to retirement, we don't need a number, right? If you have the money to retire, you can retire tomorrow and say, hey, I want to retire, right? So the retirement calculator, it helps you put in the numbers and shows what you have, right? Compared to also you calculate what you need to retire. So you take the difference between what you have and what you need, and it'll give you the gap, right? And once you have that gap, there's also goes to the final is to also book a consultation with me so that we can sit one-on-one and also talk.
Awesome. Is this retirement calculator free?
Yes, it is free. It's free to download and you can use it anytime. So it's free, share it around, give it to anybody. And I think young, old, everybody can use to this because the moment we know the clarity, that's when we can take the action, right? To be able to correct whatever gap there. Because like I talk to many women, it's like I started working since I'm 18, right? I should be able to retire. I should be able to travel and do what I need, gets freedom of time to spend with time with my family. But once we put the numbers, is that's when the scary it comes out like you are not ready, you are not even half close, and you see in their face that they are very scared, right? But either you can panic or take an action, and that's when I come in, right? Help you so that you are not panicking. Like it's better that you know so that you can take what the better action moving forward, so that you can have a better strategy moving forward, not just sitting there and hoping, hoping is not hope is not a strategy. Praying, right? We want to pray, but you want to help yourself as well. You need to have something in place that will help you.
Yeah. Well, I already knew it was free because I've used it. And so I just wanted to stress that so listeners know they're gonna get this for free. Thank you
Yes,
so
thank
much,
you.
Sandy. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna get the link. It's gonna be in the show notes so people can take advantage of that.
Thank you.
Talia, I want you to tell me how did you learn the skill of selling, right? When you started your business, how did you get to the point where you could ask for thousands of dollars and get paid thousands of dollars? Because especially if someone is in a 9 to 5 job, their brains may not be able to compute how they can get to the point where people pay them thousands of dollars. So I want you to tell us how you were able to achieve that.
First, I will say that it was a very long journey. Um, I, there's all those posts about like, leave your job, leave everything, start tomorrow, demand $10,000 and someone will pay you. And I'm like, that's not how real life works. Real life does not work like that. It takes time
Mm,
to get, from me, it took time to get the confidence for it. At first, I would ask for much less than what we were worth, because I thought that, I couldn't possibly ask for it. One trick that my dad taught me that I have always loved, and I go back to whenever I am a little concerned about sales or leads or pipeline, and I'm thinking about raising my prices. He told me to take the next 3 sales calls with the goal to get a no. Your goal is to give them a price where they say, this is too expensive. That is the goal of the call. And you go in with the mindset of, I'm not going to close. I am practicing now to say that this is how much we charge. And you know that it's not going to work and that they're going to say no. I will say that one time out of 3, they say yes, which is when you're like, oh my God, okay, I can charge that. But that's not the goal. The goal is to kind of practice, right? So
mm,
for me, like I had a set of clients that I was like, okay, I feel like I can do this. It was only me at the beginning, right? I can do this. I'm okay. And then I said, okay, I've got a few leads. Let's practice. And I would go in and say, I'm going to ask for, I don't know, $1,000 more, $2,000, $3,000 more. And I know they're going to say no, but that's okay. I'm just flexing this muscle, like going to the
mm,
gym. And that's how I used to do it. And I would go into the calls and expect to be told no. And now, by the way, these days, if I get on a sales call and someone says to me, okay, I'm like, that was not high enough. Because you're
mm,
supposed to have a reaction of like, okay, okay. Like when someone says to me, you are expensive, that to me is like, okay, so let me explain my value and let me explain
mm.
why we cost the way we do. But that is it's a muscle that you have to train. And I wish I could just say like, oh, it came naturally. I'm so good. But it doesn't.
It doesn't. Wow, that's such an incredible story. And I remember a coach I hired one time. He said the same thing to me. He said, my goal every week was to go get 10 no's, to get 10 people to say no to me. And that exercise really reshaped my relationship with rejection. And now I embrace rejection. I'm like, yeah, bring it, bring it.
Bring it on.
So
Yes,
thank you.
definitely. I actually
Yeah.
read a book that's Go for the No. Because
Mm,
when I started this business, I was so passionate. I want to help everybody. I want to help everybody so fast and so quickly. So then the reality hit that you book an appointment, people won't show up. So
mm,
I was feeling so defeated, right? When they don't show up, they are not like, they also say no. So then after reading that book, I was a mindset training, right? I had to train my brain to be, yeah, go for the no instead of go for the yes. So I feel like everybody, we all have to deal with that at some point in our
yeah.
business.
Yeah, that's an incredible point, Sandy, because I feel like as women, we tend to take rejection personally. We tend to think when people say no, they are saying no to us. And so that mindset work to kind of rewire our brains to say no, they are not rejecting me, they are rejecting the offer, and that's okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Were you gonna say something, Talia?
I was just going to say that when you were saying that like about rejecting me, it's so true. And I it kind of sparked this memory for me where just a few weeks ago I was on a sales call with a team and I really wanted to land this client. I really wanted it. But we had two or three calls with them and every time I got off the call, I felt like something was off. There wasn't a good match. There was someone on the team there that was very aggressive and wasn't kind. And you go in wanting the sale, you want to close it, but sometimes there's something about like also reading the room and understanding that like there is a price for everything. Like you don't actually want to say yes to everything. And also raising your prices and going into a sales call where someone might reject you or but you could also reject them. And I think when we're doing a sales call, we're very focused on like, okay, when do I get to the part where I talk about how much it costs and like they say yes or no and let's move on. But very similar to a job interview, when you're doing a sales call, it's important to notice the little things that are happening during the call to notice like, is this a good client? Even if they're
Mm,
willing to pay me, even if they're willing to pay me more, do I really want to work with them and how will that affect me? One of the biggest changes I did 2 years ago is we fired one of our biggest clients because someone on the team was verbally abusing our someone on my team. Like they were just so demanding, constantly blaming us for something that had nothing to do with us. And at some point, I just said, "This is not worth it. Like money is not worth it."
mm,
And I think it's important when we think about sales to it's not just a personal, it's not just, okay, someone's going to reject me. They're either going to hire me or they're not, but you're also interviewing them and you're
mm,
also checking to see if they're a good fit or not. And sometimes I feel like a lot of companies, years ago, I would do this. I would take on clients, even though I had a hunch it might not be a good fit because you just want to make, you want to
mm.
grow, but it's not always the best approach, if that makes sense.
It
Yes.
does make sense. It does make sense. That's such a master class. And like, thank you so much for saying that. And I know I'm gonna rewatch this episode over and over because you guys are dropping such incredible gems on this show. So thank you so much for that. So as we wrap up, I want to ask Talia, how do you get people on a call in the first place? What kind of marketing strategy do you implement to even get people saying, "Oh, I want to find out more. I want to come on a consultation with you."
So for us, our marketing is really built from many different things. One is I do a lot of speaking engagements and I'm on stage quite a lot. Last year, I obviously published a book, and that was a big part of the marketing. So it wasn't in order to make sales from the book, it was part of my marketing strategy. And as part of that, I also got on a lot of stages and was presenting the book and talking about the framework. And for me, a lot of my work is my podcast, my email marketing that I'm doing. The LinkedIn for us is very, very big, and YouTube. So there's a lot of different things. at play. And the reason I mention all this is something that I talk about a lot in my business too, and is that when I'm trying to increase conversions for our clients, I can't just look at the website for our client. Buying decisions of any kind, whether if they're trying to buy from me or from you, Sandy, or from, as we said, email marketing platform, the buying decision isn't made on the website. In the past year, especially since AI has accelerated, most of our decisions to buy something online or not are being done off the website. People go to a website and they look at you and they say, okay, pricing is okay. You have more or less what you want, what I need. But now how do I trust you? So they go to
Mm.
Reddit, they go to Facebook groups, they go into LinkedIn, they go into YouTube, and they watch videos of like teardowns or the real side of or real review of. So a lot of people, most of the people are going off of our website to make a decision about us. And I even had a call this week, which was phenomenal. I was speaking to someone and he said, well, I was on YouTube and I was watching a short of yours. And then I went to your website and I saw that you offered really interesting things. And then I went to your LinkedIn and I read a blog post that you wrote. And then I saw an email from you. So he was describing like all this customer journey. What we love to think of customer journeys like this, right? We love to think about like, oh, we start here and then they move until they convert. But that's not what the customer journey is like anymore. So when you're thinking about marketing, for me, for my business or your business or anyone, it always has to be about on and off your website. You have to know where your prospects are spending their time, what podcasts they're listening to, what webinars they're watching, what blogs they're reading. And that's where you want to do your marketing. So specifically for us, it's YouTube, it's LinkedIn. We're doing a lot of podcasting, but for any business, it's very different. And there's so many tools out there. One of my favorite tools, by the way, that I highly recommend is SparkToro. SparkToro helps you identify where your audience is hanging out. So what websites they're on, what blogs they're reading, what podcasts, where they are in the world, how they Google, like how they search for stuff. Are they on Google AI? What social platforms they're on? It really helps you understand where you should be doing your marketing. So I know you were asking specifically about me, but I thought it would be a good idea to just mention that that is specific to me. It doesn't mean that it will be right for you, Joy, or for you, Sandy, or for anyone else. Everyone has to find where their audience is, and diversify all of your marketing in many ways.
That is incredible, and thank you so much for saying that. Because I feel like when my audience hears it from me, they think I'm making things up, right? So last week I did a post on LinkedIn about Google's 7-11-4 rule, which says well, Google's research found that for people to trust you enough to buy high ticket, they need 7 hours of content on 11 different touch points. So when you talked about this person saying they went to your LinkedIn, your YouTube, your TikTok, right? So 11 different touch points. And then
Wow.
on four
Yeah.
different platforms. So when you said, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Talia, for saying this.
I
So
need
yeah, so
you have to send me that research. I'm
yeah.
just frantically typing to myself, 7 hours of content, 11 different touch points. I'm like, I need to see this. Okay.
Yeah. So it's called Google's 7-11-4 rule. That's the name of the rule. Like incredible. And it's incredible that you didn't even know about this research and you just explained exactly how it works. So thank you so much for that. I can see you're going on Google and you're searching.
Like, okay. Oh yeah, I found it. Okay.
You found
Cool.
it?
Yes. I love this. Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay. So Talia, tell us about your book. Where can we buy your book? Is it available on Amazon or do we have to order from your website?
It is available on Amazon. It's right over there too. I can show it to you.
Yes.
This is my book. It also
Ooh.
has a whole different story because at first when I made the book, it looked completely different. I don't know if I have it here. Yes. Sorry. Okay. This was the original cover. And then someone said, this looks like every other business book, and everyone does this. And then I was like, okay, I love comic books and I'm going to go all in on comic books. And the whole design of the book is based on that, with all sorts of quotes from my favorite comic books and heroes. But okay, sorry, to the question. You can buy this on Amazon, yes, but you can also get the book plus all sorts of worksheets and templates and kind of actionable items on my website. So if you go to taliawolf.com/book, there's an option there to buy the bundle. It's only $29 and you basically get a bunch of stuff, including the book in PDF format or EPUB, and all 5 or 6 different worksheets and templates and slide decks and stuff to work with. So you can definitely get it there.
Awesome. So I'm gonna get the link, listeners. It's gonna be in the show notes as well. Oh my gosh, this has been incredible. Thank you to both of you so much for your insights. I know, like I said, I'm gonna rewatch this episode over and over because it has really blessed me. Before we go, any last words? I'm gonna start with Sandy first and then Talia.
Yeah, so like I said, like women, right? We are very strong. We are passionate. Whatever that we do, we give it 100%. We don't. This is why this came up in our conversation. Rejection, it hit us very hard,
Mm,
right? Because whatever that we do, we never do halfway. So as women empowering each other, I'm very grateful to be part of this conversation. And moving forward, I want each one of us women to be able to be open, able to discuss about money, right? Talk about financing and put in some do not procrastinate, right? Some people say ignorance, it doesn't necessarily mean you didn't know. It means you knew but you didn't take an action, right? So like Joy was talking about the celebrity who GoFundMe that they have to set up. One of my goal is to defund GoFundMe, right? No more GoFundMe.
That's an
Yes,
incredible
let's all
goal.
have a strategy together so that we don't have to rely on public assistance. People will just go there and just not even donate, but whatever they're going to say about you, you hear about it, it's just going to deteriorate your health condition. So as women in our community, we all need to have better income protection, right? Have a better retirement plan in, set up some account for our kids, right? Use legal strategies to save on taxes, right? Because getting sick is a matter of if, right? It's a matter of when, not if. It can happen anytime. So let's do better and let's educate and empower each other.
I
wow,
love
that's incredible. Thank you so, so much, Sandy. I can so relate to everything you said. Thank you. Over to you,
Yeah.
Talia.
My parting words are about establishing a crew. The best thing I ever did for myself and for my business was create a group of strong, independent women. We are 10 women who have been supporting each other for over 10 years now, helping each other build our businesses, talking about money, talking about life, talking about really sharing contracts. Some of us are actually competitors with each other, and it doesn't matter because we share what we do, how we do it. We share when we are invited to speak, we share how much we're being paid or what they're paying or not. We share everything. And these women, we call ourselves the Shine Crew, have been with me through thick and thin. And I think that one of the most powerful things that you can do as an entrepreneur, as a woman, whether you work in house or you're starting your own business, is to surround yourself by strong women who can help each other and push each other. I would not be where I am today without this group. And I feel like everyone should have their own Shine Crew. So if there's one thing I would love for every woman listening to this today is to establish and create their own Shine Crew.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you
Yes.
so much. That is profound and sage advice. Sage advice. So Talia, I'm on your website. I clicked on the link that says book, but every time I click, it's taking me back to Amazon. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
So yes, you're right, because right now it's going there. If you want to get the bundle, you could probably scroll to, no, it's not there. She removed it. Hold on, I will get you the right link.
Okay.
Okay, and also talking about link, I'm having a free workshop right on March 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So we share the link so that you can register and we can meet and educate each other and empower ourselves.
Yes. So March 21st as well as March 28th, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the 28th is the workshop we're doing together, and the
Yeah.
21st is the one happening solo. So I'm gonna grab those two links. So please send me those two links. They're gonna be in the show notes. And you run workshops regularly. So even if someone is listening to this in the future, they can still go on your website, click on the workshop link, and then they'll get access to the live workshop you're running at the time.
Yes, definitely. I do this weekly.
Weekly.
I'm
Incredible.
gonna go check that out now.
Yes. So Talia, when you get the link, oh, you already have. Okay.
I just sent it.
All right.
I will
Yes,
check it out.
unfortunately, I'm getting an alert. I might have assignment in a few minutes, so please excuse me if I have to log off.
Okay. All right. So
But
we're gonna let you go. And I'm wishing you well. That you stay safe in Israel, and I'm praying that the wars all over the world end, so we can kind of get back to love. I know my parents have been praying for peace since I was a child, and I've kind of given up hope, but somehow I still want to hold on to hope that somehow we find our way back to love and peace as humanity. So
you
thank
should
you
keep
both so
that.
much.
Be
You should
safe.
keep that.
Be
Thank
safe.
you very
And
much.
What
Thank
did you
prayers.
you.
say?
Bye.
Bye.